How's it going? So I'm just gonna explain very simply what useContext does. Now, the reason why I'm making this video during revision, so I want to explain it to myself. But one thing, when I was learning useContext, I thought it was some kind of a magic thing that was like separate, and then I have to integrate it into my components. But so I thought of it. It was like in my head more of like a store, as opposed to a mechanism by which to pass properties, right? So I just want to debunk it and say that useContext is essentially property and value passing mechanism. It's not really magical thingy. Okay, so let me just quickly explain what it does, and I'll show you that you can use it straight up inside of any component, right? So let's say we have a component. Currently I have name blah. Inside blah we have, let's say, color red. Okay, and then we're gonna have inside blah we're gonna have child1. Inside child1 we're gonna have child2, and then we're gonna have child3. Okay, so now think about it. How do we pass this color red, which is inside blah, into here? So we first have to pass it into child1, then pass it into child2, then pass it into child3, and there you go. Alright? So we have to, layer by layer, pass the value through properties. So let me just build it real quick, because I don't have a setup. One sec. Well, actually, we can just do it together, if you are following, because, I mean, this video is gonna be shite anyway. It's not gonna be like a YouTube tutorial quality anyways, right? So might as well do it, So this is child1. So let's just copy this and then just put... Actually, it's probably gonna be better just to... So child2, tsref, okay. And then, whoopsie. So now we have child3. TS, okay. Alright, now we just need to import them into here. Actually, we don't need to, we just need to import one by one, right? So here we're gonna have import child1 from child1, okay? Alright, so this is gonna be our child1. So inside child1 we're gonna have child2. Child2 from child2. Alright, so this goes, let's put this into, this is child1. Okay, so it's child2, and inside child2 we have child3. Import child3 from child3, there you go. Oh my god. So this is child2, and then this will be like this. Alright, so this is our setup. Let's see how it looks. Maybe I should add some horizontal lines. Let me just add horizontal lines real quick, so we have some separation going. This is child1, child2, and then child3. Okay. So now, how do we pass? Let's just put this. Well, let's just make it h1 as well, so it's consistent. And we want this h1 to be color. Whoopsie. We want this color to be from props.color, like this. And oh my god, it's going to complain. Alright, so what do we need to do right now? We need to, from here, create variable which is const color as props. And we're gonna make it red. Alright, so now we need to pass it like this. Obviously it's going to complain because it's TypeScript. You probably don't have this problem because you're probably not using TypeScript. I just need to change this stuff to any. Alright, so now we have in props, we have color, so we're passing in here again. And then eventually it will arrive to here, right? Yes. Okay, so now if we look at this thing, it's gonna be a red color. There it is, right? So what happened? We passed it literally all the way down. Now, you can imagine if there is like 20 different components, it's just impossible to do. Impossible to do. And you also have to maintain it. It's impossible. Over like, I don't know, 200 different components. Not gonna happen. So that's why useContext exists, right? So what do? We just take, okay, we're gonna create, well, we just do const blah context equals react create context. So this is natural TypeScript, so we do this, and then we put just nothing into it, right? Okay. So then what do we want? We want anyone in here to be able to see our magic object. Well, let's just make a, I don't know, my object. So honestly, I don't know. I'll just keep it like this. Okay. So now we need to wrap this with a provider. So that's what we do. We wrap this with a provider. Provider. We put this thing here. And then we put value, which is going to be here, like so. And then we're going to put, will it accept just color? It will probably, well, let's see. Honestly, it's been a while since I passed just primitive into value, but let's see what happens. I think it will just straight up work. Okay, so now we want to access this. Well, actually, let's just change this to color as context. And we make this into green. Alright, so we do this. And we'll put it into here. Okay. So now, how do we access this value? From here. It's very simple. We need to import this context. Export. In here. Import our context from blah. Okay? And now we need to use it, which is consume it, right? So const context values equals react use context, and then we put the name of the context that we want to consume. Because okay, if you have multiple contexts, it will always refer to the one which name you are using. So in this case, we're using this one here. So now let's see in the console log, what do we have here? Because honestly, it's been a while since I passed primitives, so I want to see how to actually use it, right? Oh, constant. Okay, so we just dot, whatever. Yeah. We don't even use that, we just straight up just use it. So, as opposed to this, we're just using this, and it's going to change like that. You see? So you see, as opposed to doing all this mumbo jumbo, we just created a context. Well, we just created context inside blah. Then we wrap this inside context provider. And then we passed value in here, which was our color. And then everyone who is inside of this block, including children of children, have access to this value. So you can imagine we have quadrillion components. Everyone who is inside of this will have access to this. Very, very maintainable, reusable, super easy. Now it's a little bit confusing. I can see why people always go with the object, because it's probably easier to just do this. Color green like this, so it's a lot nicer. So context values that color will be better, so it's a lot less confusing. Yeah, so you see when context value comes in, you have an object, and inside the object you have color, because you can have multiple properties. But the bottom line is that everyone in here has access to this magical object, and you can put anything into it, and everyone is going to see it. So I don't know, let's add some kind of a name. Ooh. So you see. So again, you see, how does a component which is in the block consume this context? And it's very easy. You just import the context name which you create in here, which is this variable, right? And then you consume it by calling this useContext hook, and that's it. That's about it. And then the component gets to see what's in the parent. Doesn't matter what layer, what level it is. It could be 100th or the first component. It makes no difference. In the tree, I'm talking about, like inside the tree. Like it doesn't matter which level it is. It's just going to see it. Oh, should I go for 5 just to demo it? No, I don't think so. I mean, it makes no difference. Because at the end of the day, okay, let's say we want child 2 to see it. Like, let's just pretend that child 2 is child 20. Again, how do we get access to the context values, right? So we need to utilize this hook here. So we're gonna call it, I don't know, const my context in blah. You can call it whatever the hell you want. So I'm saying like context values, whatever. My context makes no difference, right? Then React use context. Whoops. So now, okay. So now, which context do we want to use? And the answer is we want to use this one. So we need to import it. So we import from blah, because that's the component, and inside of it we create it. Now note that we don't create context inside of the component, we create it outside. So that's kind of the only caveat, I suppose. And then we just consume it in here, and then voila. Whoops, this component can see it as well. Yeah, you see? Child 2 is able to see it too. So again, like you can just, it doesn't matter what level it is, as long as it's inside of the wrapper. Okay, take care, bye-bye.